just changed the entire crypto game, opening the floodgates for crypto to be more intertwined with the Fed, with the banking sector more than ever. Take a look at this piece of news. Ripple secures conditional U.S. banking approval to become a charter bank in the United States. Now, if you're sitting here, you're wondering, okay, is that bullish? Does this mean my bags is going to go up? Does this mean XRP is going to $10? I'm going to answer all those questions for you. I have everything broken down. I even got notes to share. I did my homework. I'm telling you guys the pros, the cons, what this means for not only Ripple, for the entire industry, and of course, what it means for you as an XRP holder. So make sure to like the video and let's get going. So, with a charter bank, think of it this way: Signature Bank and Silvergate Bank, those are both charter banks that service crypto. Remember how easy it was to get money in, to get money out. It was a direct line of communication essentially with the banking system and, of course, with the Federal Reserve. Well, they were shut down. Some might say they failed. Some might say they were targeted by political opponents or people that didn't like crypto. We're not going to dive down that rabbit hole today. But at the end of the day, when they left, there was a void that needed to be filled. And everything Ripple has been doing, I believe, is culminating in this. Now, this is a conditional approval. So from my understanding, it is not written in stone. It's not etched or laser engraved, but it is a massive step in the right direction. So let's talk about some of the pros of Ripple gaining the conditional approval, or essentially getting the final approval to become a charter bank. Number one, enhanced regulatory credibility. So with the approval, they'll get supervision, federal supervision from the OCC. They'll also automatically be registered with NYDFS. So you guys know the New York Department of Financial Services, they live in their own island when it comes to finance. You know, New York's the capital of finance. It's not the same as really any other state. And so you can get 49 states to be a bank in. New York is a whole different story. With the charter bank and them getting the approval, it would cover all of that. It would establish a unique benchmark for trust in the stablecoin market. And of course, when we talk about stablecoins, RLUSD, is this the gasoline that gets RLUSD to that $100 billion market cap? Some are even talking crazy numbers. I'm not going to mention them, but that's one. Number two is access to the Federal Reserve infrastructure. They'll essentially gain a master account at the Fed, which is what Caitlin Long's Custodia Bank has been itching for years. What that allows them to do is be under the Fed umbrella, be protected under the Fed, and access liquidity and money that only people with Fed master accounts would be able to do. And of course, settlements via FedWire, FedNow. A boost to institutional adoption and XRP utility. As a federally chartered entity, Ripple can offer custody, fiduciary services, and tokenized asset handling nationwide without state-by-state license. This fosters deeper integration of XRP's ODL, right, their on-demand liquidity, for over 300 institutions. Some people are throwing out $7 to $10 XRP, obviously.
Man, this always happens. An 11 against a 4. Okay, you know what? All right, let's go. Come on. Stop what you're doing. 11 against a 4. Hit or stay?
Hit.
Antoine, stop what you're doing. 11 against a 4. Do I double or do I hit? Hit. Gina, stop what you're doing. You're the final vote. 11 against a 4. Do I hit or do I double?
Hit.
All right, we're going to hit it. Make sure you download the stake app.
If this all plays out like we've kind of mapped out so far, it will only benefit XRP as one, the settlement layer, but two, via the stable coin and how that is integrated and works with directly the XRP token itself. And the last one is market and competitive edge. Obviously, if you have XRP and I'm not even going to throw another crypto out there, but another crypto company that does stable coins or payments, one's a charter bank with a Fed master account, the other one is not. Who do you think is going to get the institutional flows? Who do you think is going to get the marketing? Who do you think is going to get the resources? Who do you think is going to get literally everything? So those are things to keep in mind. Now, there are some potential cons, although I will say the pros massively outweigh the cons. Con number one, right? Stringent compliance and conditional requirements, right? The approval is not final. They got to continue with the OCC conditions, including rigorous audits and capital reserves. Now, some people have said, well, they held a lot of XRP in the escrow. Does that mean that they won't be allowed to sell it anymore? I don't know the answer to that question, But if that is the case, that if they get a master account, I don't even know, I'm just throwing this out there, that they can no longer sell their XRP from their escrow, that would obviously be another boost to potential upside price action for XRP. There is limitations to a trust bank charter versus like just a JP Morgan Chase or Bank of America. Unlike full national banks, trust charters prohibit deposit taking or lending, restricting Ripple to custody and fiduciary roles only. So you might say that's a con, it's not worth it, but from where they are now to becoming a charter bank, I think is a massive plus. Con number three is risks from XRP holdings or regulatory scrutiny. What I said, Ripple's large XRP reserves could raise concerns about conflicts of interest. So maybe Ripple has to sign up that they won't sell any to get the charter bank. That would be massive, accelerating the end of the 1 billion XRP token a month inflow into the markets. Instead of being in 2027, maybe it's in 2026 with the approval of them becoming a charter bank. Increased operational costs and complexity. Here's what I'll say. Here's a scenario like to paint in your mind. This is a little bit of a bearish scenario in the very short term, but that turns into bullish long term. So operational costs are going to go up, right? Compliance, they got to hire probably more compliance people, more audits, yada, yada. It's going to cost more money. And if one of the deals of them getting that charter bank status is to agree or sign over, they're not going to sell XRP from their Ripple custody account into the market. Well, my kind of feeling is, or my thinking is, if that's the case, then they're probably going to try to dump as much as possible to build up their reserves in cash and USD before they can no longer do that by signing over the right or the ability to sell those coins. Now, I don't know the inner workings of the escrow, if it's not possible to do that, if it is possible to do that, if there's some backdoor way. That's one thing to keep in mind. So don't be surprised if they get the final approval and you see a big dump in XRP and then it starts shooting right back up. It's a scenario I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but it's something important to keep at the front of our minds. And of course, market volatility and uncertainty. While bullish short-term delays of partial fulfillments could trigger XRP price corrections, broader crypto resistance from traditional institutions adds adoption friction. So at the end of the day, obviously, I think worst case scenario, it's bearish short-term with price action, very, very bullish long-term. Best case scenario, we've seen immediate rise in XRP. Retail piles in, institutions pile in. Ripple doesn't have to sign over the fact that they cannot, sell 1 billion XRP tokens out of their escrow account. And hey, they do have a lot of money, so they don't need to sell any more XRP tokens. And we see a price of $7 to $10 XRP. It's what a lot of experts are saying. I don't know if it'll get to $7 to $10 in the next 3 months based off of this news. I don't know how long the process will be to get the final approval. But I'll just tell you this, if Ripple gets that final approval, you're going to see more and more crypto native companies, specifically ones that operate in stablecoin or payments, apply to become charter banks. And once that starts happening, we talk about bailouts when the stock market is down. Now they won't have a choice. If crypto starts to completely bleed or just, fall off a cliff, it'll now at that point be intertwined with the federal system. And so there'll be more reason for the Fed to not just step in and do quantitative easing or inject liquidity for the stock or the traditional markets, but also for the crypto markets as well. If you think that's good or you think that's bad, that's up to you. Let me know what you guys think about this massive news in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.